Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Let's take a quick look here at CRV, see what's going on with this bad boy. This is a request from one of our community members here. I think it's one of our newer members, if I'm not mistaken. Victor, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but Victor, thank you so much for the request. Deeply appreciate it. Sorry for the delay. I've been a bit on the behind side lately and also wasn't feeling super awesome. Last couple days, feeling a bit better today. What we want to look at here is some macro stuff to kind of identify this new range that we're in. I'm pretty sure we have a macro resistance that we want to discuss. And then we also want to look at some back-end liquidation data too. So before we start that, I want to say thanks again for the awesome feedback. Folks, deeply appreciate that. With Pepe, WIF, Bitcoin last week, those are all longs. Same thing with BNB. And then we closed our SUI long when Bitcoin flipped short, and we shorted Bitcoin at 21%. And we now have a chain link short open as well. So we want to kind of see if it's worth taking a long or a short at this point. A lot of different things factor in here. For coins like this coin is up 10% on the day, so pretty solid bounce from that 9 to roughly 10 cent range. Let's look at liquidation first, kind of go from there. This is the last 7 days of liquidation. We can see there's a chunk between 8 and 750. No big deal there, or sorry, that's 80 and 75 cents rather. And then of course we got this upper range of about 105 to 110. That's really just kind of, we're not really close to either of those, so I'm not super concerned with that. Let's go ahead and look at the last 1 day. Sometimes this gives us a better indication. This doesn't tell us too much. So liquidation honestly isn't super indicative right now of, momentum or pushing to one way or the other. We do got to recognize a 107, a large chunk between 107 and 110, just above the local high. That's really common for people to put, have their stop loss and or liquidation event occur there. Those are some high leverage shorts. And it surprises me, but they're still having secured profits. Either way, that's an area of potential consideration. We also want to look at here as well that liquidation delta is getting closer to break even, which basically just implies we may be seeing a shift in momentum. That can happen. Last thing we want to take a look at here for this coin is basically just open interest and recognize where people have the most amount of positions right now, and that is pretty much at that exact $1 mark, 99.5. So 99.5 cents, basically just shy of $1, is where people have the most amount of interest lately, minus those that are slightly underwater at 102. So what does that mean for us? That means that $1 to 102 is a resistance level for us. Okay, we got to respect that. Okay, cool. So we got that. Let's look at the macro really quick. I always like to quickly glance at the weekly charts if I haven't looked at this coin in a while, which as you can see, the last time I looked at this coin was back the week of November 21st, 2022. Haven't covered this one in a while. Actually, maybe I might have covered it back in September. Either way you look at it, when I look here, I see tremendous potential, but a lot of folks will see that they'll just take longs blindly because the price is just gonna, it's gonna go back to its all-time high, right? Every coin does. Not even true. I think less than like 5% of coins return to their all-time highs. Most fizzle out. Not saying this coin will, but just letting you know we got some thresholds to get through before we can presume that. We can see a pretty obvious resistance that has been tested roughly 3 weeks ago at 120. Closing above 120 would be a bullish sign. We also have a secondary potential resistance here right there at about 140. So those are easy round numbers to remember. And the reason why these are relevant, folks, is because it took, literally, this coin spent weeks not being able to pass that threshold. So if you see here, you can see this area right here, 140, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, no dice. We come back to retest 120, 3 weeks, no dice. All right, so at this point, it's important to recognize that we've retested this level at 125 times, and we make a run back up there, there's a good chance we'll break through it, okay? Just again, the more often you test a level, the more likely it is to break. We're going to look at the daily time frame here and kind of just see where we're at. Keep in mind, folks, I have a Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. I post my playout charts regularly so you understand what my thoughts are on certain coins that I'm trading and or analyzing. So just know that's all available for you. I'll post an updated one here shortly, or go there to find it. I would recommend joining our Discord just because we got a pretty awesome community here, and there's a lot of good resources you can't find on my Twitter or Telegram. Having said that, daily time frame, what are we looking at here? Well, we got this ascending trend running moderately concurrent with the 20-day SMA, or sorry, that's the 50-day. And we just kind of got to be mindful that being above the 50 is a positive sign. We're just below the 20, which is an important factor to recognize too, because breaking above that could indicate bullish continuation, okay? Now again, a lot of folks mistake the fact that SMAs are resistances. They're not. They're just kind of letting us know the overall trend. We haven't truly trended towards breaking bullish yet, being under that indicator we can also recognize here too, though, being above 50 on the RSI, super substantial. Money flow index is pulling back. I don't love the MFI being below the RSI, but there's been a lot more selling pressure than buying pressure lately, so that's pretty standard. What I'm expecting the next 24 hours is for the MFI to start increasing. If that does, probably in pretty good shape. MACD is diverging, or sorry, trying to converge, but hasn't yet. I don't put a lot of weight into that. The 4-hour time frame I'd much rather look at as kind of an indication of shifting in momentum, which we can see here. It is almost perfectly converging here. So strong chance we see further upside because of that. You can also see our local high here getting retested and the likelihood of breaking through that here soon, just because the more often you test, something more likely it is to break. Right? This could even be construed as a bullish descending channel here, broadening wedge, which effectively will generally break to the upside. Okay. Again, I'm just throwing a bunch of random patterns on the charts. Please don't hold me accountable for those. They're not 100% guarantees, but if you take that, you take a nice looking pattern that is a bullish pattern, and you combine that with some macro and or smaller time frames that indicate further upside, there's a good chance that it might continue to move in that direction. You're just increasing your odds of success looking at those things, right? So we look at the RSI, we're over 50, that's generally positive. Money flow index trailing with it. Convergence on the MACD, and stochastic swinging up for the second time here. So that carries a lot more weight than the first. I think there's more likelihood of further upside for this coin, pending Bitcoin doesn't make a run towards 90,000, which is possible. It is printing a pretty ugly bear flag / bearish rectangle pattern. So just be mindful of that. It doesn't matter too much right now because Bitcoin dominance is on the rise. So, it's on the decrease rather, which is good for altcoins. We see that continue to come down. Money's flowing away from Bitcoin into altcoins. That's generally a favorable sign. All that being said, the hourly time frame, I'm very curious about the cloud here. We are breaking above 1, 2, 3, 4 hours above that. That's fantastic. Love to see that. So that's a generally favorable sign here. So that does imply further upside is potential. Conversion line is above the baseline, lagging span's free and clear. There's more reasons to consider a long versus a short in this trade or this coin. Now again, this is a weekend, funky stuff can happen. This coin's moving pretty fast. I think it'd be probably a fairly high risk trade if you use any large amount of leverage. So just bear that in mind. But for the most part, this coin does look like it has a lot of potential to continue upside here, further up, based on what we're looking at with how well it's responded, its macro perspective, liquidation. There's not like a ton of liquidation in the immediate range. So a lot of those things are more positive than negative here. So I like what I see here. Just know that we have some resistances coming up here. So if you're going to secure profits, secure sometime below 120, 119, 118 might be more appropriate. It's a decent margin of profit though. So that's almost 20% away. I'm not proposing we're going to see 120, but there's a good chance that we will too. Right? So it's more likely than not at this point, just based on the nice little shift we're seeing here. So that's kind of where we're at. I'll post a playout chart here shortly. If you're new to the channel, make sure you check out our cryptocash.tech if you want some resources on how to become a better trader. Also reference Bitunix too, folks. These guys are phenomenal. We've been using them as a community exclusively for over a year, and there's no KYC or VPN required. That's the main reason we use them, but coincidentally, they're just a phenomenal exchange. They have awesome rewards. 12K deposit bonus this month. If you feel free to consider using the link. You'll be eligible for future benefits and bonuses too. Check them out. All right, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks so much again for your time. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Thanks again. Bye.